Hello learners, welcome to Drishti CUET undergraduate program and I am your mentor Shashank. Learners, in today's session, I will be discussing with you the first topic of Indian polity. First of all guys, if I talk about this CUET examination, you must have heard that in CUET undergraduate examination there is a change in the domain as well as in the general test section. Now guys, in every domain subject including general test you will find 50 questions and all questions will be compulsory and the time that is given to you will be 60 minutes for the test, and it will be completely on CBT mode, that is on computer based test, that is a complete online test. Now guys, in today's session, if I talk about this general test, you will find that there is 50 question and all questions are compulsory, and in general test you know that there are three sections. One is the quantitative aptitude followed by logical reasoning, and the third section is GK and current affairs. And in GK guys, what sections will be asked? So it is social science plus general science, and social science includes which subject? History, polity, geography, eco. And in science guys you will find physics, chemistry and biology, that is up to class 10th, and then we have the current affairs. So this polity, it is a part of social science, and it is generally guys it is being asked in the section, in the polity section you will find Indian Constitution. So in the polity section the question is asked from the Indian Constitution. The question is being asked from the Indian Constitution. So in this section guys, I will be discussing with you the different provisions, the important sections of the Indian polity section, in which we will be discussing the topic of Indian Constitution. So first of all, before I should start the session, let's discuss about the agenda of the class. Agenda of the class means ki what I am going to discuss in today's session. And this it is a part of social science. And social science guys, from the polity section, the question is being asked from the Indian Constitution. So it is a part of social science, and from there you will find the question of Indian Constitution. And in general aptitude test, now it is called GAT, total question will have 50 and all questions will be compulsory. Questions will be compulsory in nature, and the marking scheme is +5 and -1, and it is a complete based on CBT, that is computer based test, that is an online examination. And in GAT section guys, as I have told you ki there are three sections. One is the mathematics, that you can say, then we have logical reasoning, and then we have GK and current affairs. And GK guys, in this section you will find the question from general science and social science. And in social science you will have the section of Indian polity. So in social science we discuss the topic of Indian polity. So Indian polity guys, it is a part of social science. Now coming back to the topic, what is the agenda of this session? First of all, we will discuss about the introduction of Constitution, then we will discuss about the branches of the government, followed by types of Constitution, then making of the Indian Constitution, ki how Indian Constitution was drafted, then we will discuss about cabinet mission plan, then working of the Constituent Assembly, and then important committees. And after that we will do a quick revision of the topic, in which I will be discussing with you the question answers. I will be discussing with you the whole topic in the form of MCQs, so that you should have a clear-cut understanding of the topic and you will understand ki what type of question is being asked and what is the difficulty level of the questions. So let's start the session, guys, and first of all I will be discussing with you the constitution. So definition of constitution, ki what exactly is the constitution is. So first of all, guys, let's discuss about the evolution of the word constitution, ki how this constitution word has derived. Guys, the word constitution, it is derived from a Latin word constituere. So the word constitution of English, it is derived from a Latin word constituere, and that means supreme law. So supreme law means ki the law which is followed by all the laws prevailing in the country. So constitution word is derived from a Latin word constituere, and this Latin word constituere means supreme law. I hope it's clear that it is the meaning of supreme law, and supreme law is that law which is followed by rest of the laws by the country. So why it is called constitution is called supreme law? Because rest of the laws which are prevailing in the country, they do not go against constitution, because rest of the laws prevailing in the country that follows the constitution, that means ki those law did not went against constitution. So the laws which are prevailing in the country, they do not go against constitution. That means ki the laws don't go against the constitutions, against the constitution. Therefore it is the supreme law of the country, and it is the source of all the powers and positions of the country, and it is the source of all the posts of the posts and positions. It is the source of the posts and power associated with the post. So it is the source of the post and the powers which is associated with the post. Now let me explain you these two things. First of all, guys, I have said that it is the law, it is because why it is called supreme law, because rest of the laws prevailing in the country follows the constitution. It simply means, let's take example of India. In India, we have different laws, like we have BNS, that is called Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Then we have Evidence Act, like became Bharatiya 𝗕ciecie𝗂𝗍𝘀. So there are different types of laws, company laws is there, and different types of laws are there. So these laws, they always follow the constitution of India, because none of the law in India is made in such a way that go against the constitution of India. So these are the laws which are prevailing in the country, and they always follow the constitution. So it is called the supreme law, because rest of the laws which are working in the country, they always follow constitution. Next is that it is the source of all the power, post and position power associated with the post. For example, guys, let's take a example, that is the post of president. Why the post of president is in India? Because it is mentioned in Constitution of India that there shall be a president of India, which is mentioned in Article 52. Now you must have seen that there are different types of power which is associated with the post of president, like we have executive power, we have judicial powers, we have the pardoning powers, that is a part of a judicial power. Next we have financial powers, military power, that is associated with the president. Why these powers are associated or given to the president? Because it is mentioned in Constitution of India कि for example president will be supreme commander of the defense forces. This is mentioned in Constitution. Therefore president is supreme commander of the defense forces. Other than this, president appoints prime minister and council of minister. This is mentioned in the executive power of the president, that is Article 53. Therefore these powers are given to the president because it is mentioned in Constitution of India. So it is the source of the post and the powers which is associated with the post. Therefore, you will find that it is the supreme law of the country. Now guys, this is all about the evolution of the word constitution. Now what is the definition? So let's discuss the definition. Definition of constitution. So constitution is the supreme law of any country that contains rules and regulations to regulate the government. So it is a supreme law of any country, not only for India, it is the supreme law of any country. And what it contains the rules and regulations to regulate the government. So government is regulated by constitution, and finally this government runs the country, and the government runs the country. Government runs the country. And what is the nature of the constitution? So what is the nature? Nature is, it is a written dynamic document. So nature is written dynamic document. So constitution is, guys, it is written in nature. That means it is written, it is in written form, and the nature is dynamic. Dynamic means changing. So we do changing in the constitution through amendment. So changes is done through amendments. So changes in constitution is done through amendments, and which authority has power to do the change? That means which authority has power to amend the constitution? Which authority has power to amend the constitution? So it is the parliament. So parliament has power to amend the constitution. So parliament is the only authority that has power to change the constitution or to amend the constitution, but this amendment should be done without changing the basic structure. So this amendment should be done without changing the basic structure. So is that clear to all of you guys? Then do let me know. Is that clear to all of you? Then do let me know. I hope this is clear to everyone. Now let's come to the next thing. I hope the definition of constitution is understood by you all. Now let's come to the next thing, that is the branches of the government. Now guys, if I discuss about the branches of the government, there are three branches through which the government functions properly. So they are the three branches through which government functions properly. They are the three branches through which the government functions properly. And which are those branches? First is the legislature. First body is called legislature. And what is the work of legislature? The work of legislature is to formulate the law for the country. To formulate the laws for the country. So formulation of the laws for the country, that is did by legislature. And in India we have legislature at two levels. So in India we have legislature. In India we have legislatures at two levels. So legislature at two levels. One is central level. So central level we have parliament, and state level we have the state legislature. State legislature. And state legislature has two houses, then state legislative council and state legislative assembly. So state legislative council, that stands for SLC, and state legislative assembly, that stands for SLA. And the parliament we have Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So we have two houses of the parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. This is the part of legislature that formulates law for the country. Next we have executive. Executive that implements the law. So next we have executive that implements the laws. So executive that implements the laws, and we have two forms of executive. So we have two forms of executive. So highest executive authority. Authority at state level, this is governor, and at center this is the president. So highest executive authority at the state level is the governor, whereas at center it is the president. Next is judiciary. Next we have judiciary, and what is the work of judiciary? Judiciary has two works. First of all, what is the work? First is to protect the law. First of all, to interpret the laws, and second is to protect the law. First of all, what is the meaning to interpret the law? That means to explain the law. And what is the meaning to protect the law? That means to punish the person who breaks the law. To punish the person who breaks the law. And in India we have three-tier judicial system. So in India we have three-tier judicial system. Which are the three tiers of the judiciary? Guys? So we have three-tier judicial system. Which are those? So first is Supreme Court. So first we have Supreme Court, High Courts, and subordinate court. And subordinate court, guys, they work under High Court in a state, like District and Session Court, Civil Court, Family Court, Criminal Court. These are combinedly known as subordinate court. So these are combinedly known as subordinate court. So is that clear to all of you? What is High Court, what is Supreme Court, and subordinate court? We will discuss these things in the detail in our upcoming session. So is that clear to all of you? Is that clear to all? Now let's come to the next thing. That means I hope, guys, it is clear to everyone about the branches of the government and what are the function of these branches. Is that clear to everyone? What are the functions of the branches, and what are the branches of the government, and what are their functions? Is that clear to everyone? I hope, guys, that should be clear to all of you, that what are the branches and what are their functions of the government. Now, guys, let's come to the next thing, that is about the types of constitution. Now let's come to the next feature, that is the types of constitution. Now, guys, if I divide the constitution, we can classify in many types. Like, on the basis of writing, we have written and unwritten. On the basis of amendments, that is rigid and flexible. So on the basis of writing, we have written constitution and unwritten constitution. On the basis of amendment, we have rigid and flexible constitution. Now rigid constitution is, guys, that constitution where the provisions are tough to amend, where different provisions are tough to amend. And flexible constitution is that constitution where provisions are easy to amend, although the flexible constitution contains rigid provision. Although flexible constitution contains rigid provision. Flexible constitution that contains rigid provisions. Although it is not like that ki whole constitution is flexible, so although the flexible constitution also contains rigid provision. Now what is the example of this rigid constitution? Example is the USA. So US constitution is rigid because the process of amendment is very tough, whereas the flexible constitution example, the best example can be India, because Indian constitution is overall flexible, but flexible constitution also contains rigid provisions. So this is the example of the constitution which is based on the amendability. Next we have on the basis of writing, one is written constitution, another is unwritten constitution. Now guys, this written constitution, what does it mean? And unwritten, maximum of you, if you are thinking ki unwritten constitution means oral constitution, then you are wrong, guys. Then you are 100% wrong. Reason is this ki the constitution cannot be oral. The constitution cannot be oral because you cannot classify, you cannot remember everything that is orally being said. You cannot be Louis XVI who used to say कि मैं ही यहाँ का राजा हूँ और मेरे शब्द ही यहाँ के कानून हैं. Your a brain of a person is a body, but that does not mean कि your brain is an hard disk that remembers each and everything. So oral constitution is not practically possible. It is possible in the anarchical form of government, which is not practically being possible nowadays. So generally we have written and unwritten. Unwritten does not mean oral at all, because oral constitution cannot be framed. This is next to impossible. Next we have, now let's discuss ki what is the difference between written constitution and unwritten constitution. Ki what is the difference between written and unwritten constitution? See, there are few differences between written and unwritten. The first is the written constitution is codified in nature. Codified means systematically arranged. Systematically arranged in nature, that means if part 3 discusses fundamental rights, then all the articles that will be related to fundamental rights, that will be in part 3. It does not mean that in fundamental rights you will find articles related to some other provisions, whereas unwritten constitution is non-codified in nature. So it is not codified. So it is not codified in nature. So unwritten is not codified in nature. Next is कि the written constitution is drafted by a special body. Like Indian constitution, it is drafted by Constituent Assembly, that was a special body, but unwritten constitution is evolved constitution in nature. सो इट इज इवॉल्व्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इन नेचर. सो ऐसा संविधान जिसकी उत्पत्ति हो रही है, दैट मीन्स once you get the provision you add in the constitution. Third is supremacy of constitution. So in written constitution, the constitution itself is the supreme authority, whereas in unwritten constitution it is supremacy of parliament. Supremacy of parliament. And let's take the example. Indian constitution, US constitution, they are written constitution in nature, whereas if I talk about unwritten constitution, constitution of Britain, New Zealand, Israel, Saudi Arabia, they are unwritten constitution in nature. Although guys, unwritten is also it is in written form, but it is not systematically arranged. So although it is in written form, but it is not systematically arranged. So is that clear to all of you? Ki although it's in written form, but it is not systematically arranged. Is that clear to all of you guys? Ki although it's in written form, but it is not systematically arranged, guys. Is that clear to all? Is that clear to all, guys? Then do let me know. Is that clear to all of you guys? Then do let me know. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, now guys, let's come to the next thing, that is the making of the Indian Constitution. Now let's come to the topic, that is making of the Indian Constitution. These are the backgrounds of the Constitution, and once you understand the background and of the subject, then it becomes very easy for you to understand the main context. Now guys, let's discuss about the background, how the Indian Constitution was made. Now guys, first of all, the demand of the Constitution for the Indians that started in 1895 through Swaraj Bill. So in 1895 guys, in 1895, Bal Gangadhar Tilak he introduced Swaraj Bill, and this Swaraj Bill demanded for the Constitution. So this Swaraj Bill demanded for the formation of Constitution for India, but this was rejected, So it was rejected by British government. So it was rejected by British government, that was Swaraj Bill. It was the first attempt for Constitution of India, but that was rejected because British never wanted that Indians should make their constitution. Now guys, to draft constitution, first of all, what you need? To draft constitution, first of all, you need constituent assembly. First of all guys, to draft constitution, you need constituent assembly. So to draft constitution, you need a constituent assembly. To draft constitution, you need a constituent assembly to draft the constitution. So in 1934, guys, the proposal of constituent assembly was given by M.N. Roy. So he was Manvendra Nath Roy. He gave the proposal for formation of a constituent assembly so that the Constitution of India can be drafted, and this was being given by Manvendra Nath Roy, who was the founder member of CPI. So he was founder member of Communist Party of India. So he gave the proposal that कि the British should make constituent assembly, the Indians should have their constituent assembly so that the constitution of India can be drafted. Next we have कि 1935 Indian National Congress officially demanded the Constituent Assembly to draft the Constitution of India. Now guys, Indian National Congress at that point of time, it was the largest political party of India. It demanded the formation of Constituent Assembly. Now guys, after Nehru report, Indian showed their capacity that they can draft the constitution properly. So you will find that through Nehru report that came in 1928, and this was given by Pandit Motilal Nehru, who was father of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and he was a very popular barrister. So Indians showed their caliber that they can draft the Constitution of India, and once Nehru report came, that was a proposal to draft the Constitution of India. Britishers although rejected this report, but they understood that these Indian people, they have caliber to draft the Constitution. So they were not in a mood to create the Constituent Assembly, because once the Constituent Assembly will be created and Indians will draft the Constitution, so they will give less power to the British, more towards Indians. So then there is a high chance that British will lose their supremacy. So they were not in a mood to form the Constituent Assembly of India. Now guys, in 1938, what happened? Ki Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, on behalf of INC, said that Constitution of India will be made by Constituent Assembly without external interference. Now guys, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he became the prime face for the Constituent Assembly, and he said that initially guys, British said that ki you people, that means Indians, they do not have power, they do not have that much intellectual capacity that they can draft their constitution by their own. So definitely they need the help of British to draft their constitution. Now Pandit Nehru on behalf of INC said that ki Mr. British authorities, we do not need your help. That means we Indians are well capable enough to draft our own constitution. So simply guys, Pandit Nehru said that ki we Indians are capable of drafting our own constitution. He said that कि Indians are capable enough to draft their own constitution. Indians, they are capable enough to draft their own constitution, and without external interference means कि without help of British, without British help. So without help of British, we are capable enough to draft our constitution. We do not need any external interference. Now guys, by that time in 1939, the Second World War started. Second World War started, that went from 1939 till 1945. So in the Second World War, the Viceroy of India, that was Lord Linlithgow. Viceroy of India, that was Lord Linlithgow, and he was the Viceroy from 1936 till 1943. He involved India in Second World War, so he involved India in Second World War. So he involved India in Second World War. Now guys, once you will see that during the time of World War, the position of the economic condition of British, they became weak, and they were not in a position, they became economically weak, and they do not have enough resources to hold this type of big colony like India. So in 1940, in the month of August, in 1940, just after a year, in the month of August, British Viceroy gave August offer from Shimla. So from Shimla, which was summer capital of India, they gave offer. So British Viceroy, so this Viceroy gave offer that British accepted that Constituent Assembly will be created by Indians and dominion status will be given when Indians will help British, in Second World War. So simply guys, Lord Linlithgow gave an offer. Offer is give and take. Ki from one hand you give us something, on another hand you take something from us. So in 1940, August offer was being given by British Viceroy Lord Linlithgow. Lord Linlithgow from Shimla, he said, because Shimla was the summer capital of India, he simply said that ki if the Indians want that their Constituent Assembly should get created and they should get dominion status, the Indians will have to help the British in Second World War. So once Indians will help British in Second World War, then only British government will create Constituent Assembly for Indians, which will be dominated by Indians because majority of the people will be Indians, and then British government will give dominion status to them, but only on one condition, that British government should get help of Indians in Second World War. Now, when this thing was heard by the Congress leader, the Congress rejected the proposal. So, INC rejected the proposal. INC rejected the proposal. Why INC rejected the proposal? Because the Indian National Congress authorities said that ki we know that you always betray us. So in 1914, when the First World War started, you said that ki after the First World War we will give dominion status to you people, but once the First World War got over, you forget your promise and you betrayed us, you did not give us dominion status. So this you will do, same thing you will do in the Second World War. Once the World War will be over, you will forget your promise and you will not give us dominion status. Now what is dominion status, guys? Dominion status means to rule under British government. To rule under British government. To rule under British government. So once the Second World War be over, you will again forget your promise. So Congress rejected this proposal. Now guys, what happened in 1942? Cripps mission came. Cripps mission, the chairman, it was a one-member commission. The chairman was Sir Stafford Cripps. Sir Stafford Cripps was the chairman, and they accepted that demand for creating Constituent Assembly, but after Second World War. So Stafford Cripps came and he said that to the Indian National Congress ki yes, British government is sincerely thinking to create your Constituent Assembly. We will create your Constituent Assembly, but after Second World War. So, but after Second World War, your Constituent Assembly will be created, but after Second World War. Now guys, when this thing was heard by the Indian National Congress, simply they rejected the proposal. So simply rejected the proposal. Rejected the proposal. Because the Congress wanted that immediately you should give us dominion status, and after Second World War you should give us Purna Swaraj. So simply Sir Stafford Cripps said that this is not in my hand, ki once I give you dominion status right now and after Second World War I should offer Purna Swaraj. This is out of the box for me. So he simply said that I cannot help you in that. And then Gandhiji said about Cripps mission, then MK Gandhi said about Cripps mission that it's a post-dated check. And Pandit Nehru added of a crashing bank. Of a crashing bank. Why Gandhiji called it as a post-dated check? Reason was this, it was delivery. Post-dated check means ki the check that contains future date of delivery. This CRIPS mission was offering dominion status, but after Second World War, and when Second World War is going to end, that is not known to anyone at that point of time, because we are talking in 1942 and World War ended. At that point of time, none of the people were knowing when this World War is going to get ended. And of a crashing bank. Why crashing bank, guys? Because the condition of the British in the Second World War was very pathetic, and they were economically, they said they got a very serious backwardness. They economically, they said, got a very serious setback, and they were not in a condition to hold a colony like India. And other than this, series of national movements started to make India free, and in this you will find that in August 1942, Quit India movement started. Quit India movement started. Quit India movement started. And guys, Quit India movement, although it was suppressed by British in 1943, but through Quit India movement it was clear that the days of British government in India is now over, and very soon they have to vacate the territory of India. So very soon they have to vacate the territory. So this was being directly did through CRIPS mission. Now guys, what happened ki due to the series of the national movement that started, and due to the poor economic condition of the British, they were not in a position to hold a big colony like India. So what happened, Clement Attlee, who was the prime minister at that point of time, did two things. First of all, he announced to change the viceroy. So a new viceroy came, that was Lord Wavell. So new viceroy came, that was Lord Wavell, and he was the viceroy from 1943 till 1947. And Lord Wavell announced that ki cabinet mission plan will come to India for the formation of Constituent Assembly, so that the Constitution of India can be drafted, power can be transferred, and then the British government will take a royal farewell from India. So in 1946, guys, in March 1946, cabinet mission arrived India that recommended the formation of Constituent Assembly. So Constituent Assembly to draft the constitution, that was on the recommendation of cabinet mission plan, and this was being done by Clement Attlee. So Clement Attlee was the prime minister, was Clement Attlee. He recommended for the formation of cabinet mission, so that the Constitution of India can be drafted and power can be transferred. Is that clear to all? Is that clear to all? Is that clear to all, guys? Okay. So this is how the cabinet mission plan came in India and created the request or created the demand of the Constituent Assembly, formed Constituent Assembly. Now guys, let's discuss about the members in the cabinet mission. So cabinet mission, guys, that came in March 1946. So it came in March 1946. And it was a three-member body. It was a three-member body, out of which one was the chairman and two were the members. So one is the chairman, two were the members. One is the chairman and two were the members. Patrick Lawrence, guys, he was the chairman, and two members were, and the two members they were A.V. Alexander and Stafford Cripps. And Stafford Cripps came, he was the same Cripps who came in 1942. So he was same Stafford Cripps who came in 1942. So earlier he came to India in 1942. Stafford Cripps, he is the same one who came in 1942 also. So he is the same Cripps who came in 1942 also. So he is the same Stafford Cripps. Same Stafford Cripps who came in 1942 as well. I hope guys is that clear. And through cabinet mission plan the constituent assembly was being formed and election was did. Now guys, let's discuss about the number of members in constituent assembly. So guys, it is said that this cabinet mission recommended the formation of constituent assembly, but it was did through election. So election of the member, election was conducted for the formation of constituent assembly. For the formation of constituent assembly. So election will be conducted guys for the formation of constituent assembly. Now guys, the total number of members in constituent assembly will be 389. So 389 will be the total member. And out of this total member, 292 will be the from British India. British India means the provinces which were directly under British rule. So 292 was from the British India, and this is before independence. So 292 was from British India, that means provinces directly under control of British government. 292 was from British India. Then 4 were from commissioners. Commissioners were 4. So 4 commissioners, and the names of the commissioners were A, B, C, D. A for Ajmer, B for Baluchistan, C for Coorg. Coorg, it is in Karnataka, and D for Delhi. Now guys, this Baluchistan, now it is in Pakistan, and 93 they were from the princely state. So 93 they were from princely state, that means Nawabs and kings. Nawab and kings, they constitute princely states. They constitute princely states. So Nawab and king, they constitute princely states. So 93 they were from princely state. Now guys, these members of the princely state, they refused to join constituent assembly. They refused to join. Why they refused to join guys? Because it is said that these princely states said that they are happy in their monarchical system, they do not need democracy. So princely states said that they are happy in their monarchical system, happy with monarchical system, and once the constituent assembly will be created, constitution will be drafted, then democracy will come. And democracy will hamper their interest and image, and democracy will hamper their interest and image. So simply they refused to join the constituent assembly. They refused to join constituent assembly. Therefore election was held. Election was held on 296 seats. So election was held on 296 seats. So the election of the constituent assembly, that was held on 296 seats. Is that clear guys? On how many seats election was there? Is that clear, guys? Now let's come to the next thing, that how the election was being conducted. Now guys, let's discuss the election of this Constituent Assembly. So guys, election of Constituent Assembly, what was the nature of election? Nature of election, guys, of the Constituent Assembly was direct election. Was direct election. So sorry, it was indirect election, not direct, it was indirect election. Indirect election is that election where the people do not vote directly, the elected representatives of people will vote. So the elected representatives of people will vote. So if the people will not vote, so what will be the electoral college? Electoral college, that will be the members of the state legislative provinces. So members of state, members of the provinces of the state legislature, members of the provinces, members of the provincial legislative assembly, members of the provincial legislative assembly will vote. Members of the provincial legislative assembly will vote, and the seats to the provinces, they were allotted on the basis of population. So seats to the provinces were allotted on basis of population. Okay, if the province has more population, more seats will be there. So if the province have more population, then more seats will be there. And roughly guys, one seat was on 1 million population. One seat was on 1 million population. So on 1 million population, one seat was there, and election was conducted. Election was conducted on July-August 1946. So election was conducted on July-August, and total number of seats, and election was conducted on total 296 seats, and election was conducted on 296 seats. Now what was the result? So when the result came, it was very much astonishing. Indian National Congress, they won 208 seats. Muslim League, they won 73, and others, they won 15. So that was the result. So Indian National Congress won 208, Muslim League won 73, and others won 15. And finally this 296 was declared. Now guys, when this happened, so Muslim League won very less number of seats. They did not touch even 75. So Muslim League was dissatisfied and requested the cabinet mission to nullify the result, and they requested the cabinet mission that cabinet mission should nullify the result, that means to declare the result null and void. But cabinet mission refused. The cabinet mission refused. Now guys, when cabinet mission refused to nullify the result, the Muslim League refrained themselves from Constituent Assembly and demanded separate state of Pakistan. They demanded separate state Pakistan. So they demanded separate state of Pakistan. So they demanded that they should need a separate state Pakistan. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? Now see what happened. They demanded separate state Pakistan. So what happened? The cabinet mission started. So this was cabinet mission. This was the size of the Constituent Assembly before election. But when India became independent, some of the provinces went in Pakistan. So the size of Constituent Assembly, got reduced. And now the size became 299. So after independence of India in 1947, because some of the province of the Constituent Assembly of undivided India went in Pakistan, so definitely the seats will reduce. And now guys, the number of seats in the Constituent Assembly of India which was created after independence, that was 299. And out of this 299 guys, 229 was from Indian states and 70 they were from princely states. And 70 were from princely states. 70 were from princely states. So this is how guys the size of the Constituent Assembly got reduced. Now 70 were from princely state and these princely state joined Constituent Assembly. They joined Constituent Assembly due to Sardar Patel and VP Menon. So due to Sardar Patel and VP Menon. So due to the efforts of Sardar Patel and VP Menon. Is that clear guys? That was the size of the Constituent Assembly. That was before independence. Is that clear to all of you? Is that clear guys? Okay. Now let's come to the introduction of the Constituent Assembly. This was before independence. This was before independence. Now the first meeting of this Constituent Assembly that was held on 9 December 1946. The first meeting that was held of Constituent Assembly, and it was held in Old Parliament building. Old Parliament building. Now it is called Samvidhan Sadan. Now it is called Samvidhan Sadan. Now called Samvidhan Sadan. And the chairman was Dr. Sachidanand Sinha. So Sachidanand Sinha became the chairman because he was eldest member of the Constituent Assembly, and it is said that when he became the member, his age was 75 years. So when he became member, his age was 75 years. So he was the eldest member, and following the French tradition. So this was following the French traditions. Following the French tradition. Next meeting held on 11 December 1946. In this meeting guys, the Constituent Assembly chose their regular chairman, and regular chairman became or regular president became Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So he became regular president. Regular president became Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Then Harendra Komar Mukherjee and V.T. Krishnamachari, they became vice presidents. So Constituent Assembly has two vice presidents. Third was Benegal Narsingh Rao, and he became the constitutional advisor, and he was a civil servant. So Benegal Narsingh Rao, he was a civil servant, became the constitutional advisor. Now guys, what happened ki through this, the regular session of the Constituent Assembly started, and before, when India became guys independent, two things was did by Constituent Assembly. One was to draft the constitution and another was to draft the ordinary laws. So see what happened ki when India became independent, there was two work that was did by Constituent Assembly. So there were two type of work that was did by Constituent Assembly. First was to draft constitution. So whenever the Constituent Assembly sits to draft the constitution, the chairman became Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And whenever it worked to draft ordinary laws, so it was then presided by G.V. Mavlankar. So it was being presided by G.V. Mavlankar. So whenever it came to draft the constitution, then it is Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Whenever it sits to draft the ordinary law, then it was G.V. Mavlankar. Now guys, on 13 December 1946, objective resolution was presented by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So Pandit Nehru presented this objective resolution. Now what was objective resolution? Objective resolution was the summary of upcoming constitution. So it was summary of upcoming constitution of India. It was summary of upcoming constitution of India, and this was presented by Pandit Nehru on 13 December 1946 and was adopted by Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. So why guys Constituent Assembly took this much of time to adopt the objective resolution? Because multiple things in the Constituent Assembly, they were adopted through the consensus. Now you will see that, now guys you will find that whenever the Constituent Assembly used to adopt anything, that was did through the consensus. So this was did through the consensus, it was not did through the voting process. Now the Constituent Assembly was thinking that somehow Muslim League will get convinced and will join the Constituent Assembly. So they were waiting for the Muslim League to join the Constituent Assembly. Therefore they waited for such a long period. By the time the hopes of the Constituent Assembly that ended, that the Muslim League, they are not willing to join the Constituent Assembly, they will not join assembly and they will demand for the separate state of Pakistan, then only they decided to pass this objective resolution. Therefore it took time to pass, although there was no major concern on it. So finally guys, on 22nd January 1947, Constituent Assembly adopted the or passed the objective resolution. I hope it is clear why it took time, because they were thinking that Muslim League will get convinced and will join the Constituent Assembly. Is that clear to all? Okay. Now guys, let's see that number of female members in Constituent Assembly before independence. Was 15. So number of the female members in Constituent Assembly before independence was 15, and the time period to draft the Constitution of India was 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. And it took 11 sessions. It took 11 sessions to draft the Constitution of India. And it took 11 sessions to draft the Constitution of India, and the Secretary of the Constituent Assembly was H.V.R. Iyengar, and the chief draftman of the Indian Constitution was Constituent Assembly was S.N. Mukherjee, and he was also a civil servant. So he was also civil servant. So chief draftman of the Constituent Assembly was also civil servant, that was S.N. Mukherjee. So who were the civil servants? This question came multiple times in examination. Who were the civil servants in Constituent Assembly? Civil servants in Constituent Assembly. Constituent Assembly of India. So was Benegal Narsingh Rao, and then we have S.N. Mukherjee, Surendranath Mukherjee. So S.N. Mukherjee, guys, he was called Surendranath Mukherjee. I hope it is clear to all of you that these were the two civil servants who worked in the Constituent Assembly to draft the Constitution of India. Now guys, let's come to the Indian Constitution at a glance. That means important features. First is to draft the Constitution of India. The constitution of almost 60 countries were studied before drafting the constitution. Why so? Because the constitution should not get failed in any condition. To avoid the failure of constitution in any condition, to avoid failure of constitution, to avoid failure of constitution in any condition. Next is total expenditure. So total expenditure was around 64 lakh rupees that was did, and it was a big expenditure in that point of time. Now the calligraphy in the English was did by Prem Bihari Raizada. So calligraphy of the English, because constitution was originally written in English, because constitution originally written in English. So constitution was originally written in English. It was did by Prem Bihari Raizada. Calligraphy in the Hindi was did by Vasant Krishna Vaidya. So Vasant Krishna Vaidya did the calligraphy in Hindi, and the border of the pages was designed by Nandalal Bose and Bihohar Ram Manohar Sinha. They were the artists from Shanti Niketan, and the official seal of the Constituent Assembly contains the image of elephant, because elephant, guys, it is said that it's a very wise and bulky animal. So the official seal of the Constituent Assembly that contains the image of elephant, because it's a very bulky and wise animal, and Indian Constitution is the bulkiest constitution of the world. Now guys, let's come to discuss the next thing, next features. Next is it is the longest written constitution of the world. So Indian Constitution is the longest written constitution of the world. Shortest written is Monaco, is the Constitution of Monaco. Shortest written, it is the Constitution of Monaco, guys. Next is the day of enactment, that is on 26 November 1949, and this is called Constitution Day. And constitution was partially implemented as well. So 15 articles of Indian Constitution was enacted, and day of enforcement, that was on 26 January 1950. 26 January 1950, because constitution was fully enforced in India because constitution was fully enforced in India. Now, the national flag that was adopted on, that is 22nd July 1947, and the length is to breadth is 3:2. So, length is to breadth is 3:2, and the national anthem was adopted on 24 July 1950, and it was written by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And the original constitution, what it contains? So the original constitution contains one preamble, 22 parts, 8 schedule and 395 articles. So original constitution contains one preamble, 22 parts, 8 schedule and 395 articles. Next we have the present situation of Indian constitution. It has one preamble, 22 parts as it is. Now guys, if you will find on internet, you will find 25 parts are written. No. What actually happens guys, if you start counting, then you will find 26, but part 7 is repealed from 7th Amendment Act 1956. Then you will find part 5. Like part 4A, it is directive principles of state policy. Next we have part 5, that is the union. Like part 14A, this is for the tribunals. Other than this, part 9A, 9B, that you will find municipalities and municipal corporation. So this is where guys you will find total 25 parts. So total you will find 25 parts. But you will find one thing guys, you will find that you will find it is 25 parts, but how it is there? But how it is there? Like you will find guys, originally we have 22, but if you will add part 4, part 4A, that is directive principles of state policy, then you have part 9A, municipalities and municipal corporation. Part 9B, cooperative societies. And part 14A, this is tribunals. So 22 plus these 4, what it will make? 22 original plus this 4, it will make 26. Now part 7, it is repealed. Repealed means removed by 7th Amendment Act 1956. So just to remove -1, then it will become 25. So if you will count, then it will be 25. But if you will see the number, still it is 22. So still it is 22. So originally 14 part we have, these 4, if you will include part 4A, part 9A, 9B, part 14A, then it will become 22 plus 4, 26. Now part 7 is repealed by 7th Amendment Act, so just to remove 1, then it will become 25. So once you will start counting, then it will be 25, but if you will see the last number of the part, that will be 22. So according to the number we have to see, we do not have to count part 4A as 5. So this is how we have 22 parts. If you will do counting, then 25, but if you see number, then it is 22. So you have to go for 22, not 25. Next is 12 schedules. 12 schedules, that is Schedule 9, Schedule 9, Schedule 9, that was Acts and Laws. related to land reforms. It was added through First Amendment Act 1951, then Schedule 10. Schedule 10, that is anti-defection law. This is through 52nd Amendment Act 1985. Then Schedule 11. Schedule 11, what it discuss? Schedule 11 that discuss the Panchayati Raj. 73rd Amendment Act 1992 and Schedule 12. Municipality and Municipal Corporation. 74th Amendment Act 1992. So these 4 schedules were originally added, so 8 plus 4, now it became 12 schedule. So this is how 12 schedules are there, and still we have 395 articles. Now if you will go through on internet, if you will find, guys, you will find somewhere it is written 448 articles, somewhere you will find 470 article, but it is done through the counting, because many provisions are being repealed as well. Many provisions in the Indian Constitution, they are repealed as well. So still, if you will see the last number, if you will see the last number of the article, that you will find 395 is the last number. So if you will see the last article, that is article 395, this is the last article of the Indian Constitution. Like, guys, if you will find article 51A, that is related to fundamental duties, and if you consider that as a 52, then if you will start counting, then this number may increase. But if you will see the last counting, still it is 395. So you have to go for 395, not for 448 or 470 that is mentioned in internet. If you will see number of parts, if you will find on internet, if you will type number of parts of Indian Constitution, you will find 25. But how it is 25? By counting, not by numbers. By counting, not by numbers. And how it is 25? That I have shown you there. I hope that's clear. Now come to some important committees and chairman of this Constituent Assembly. First is the Union Constitutional Committee and States Committee. Union Constitutional Committee and the State Committee, and this was being chaired by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Next is Provincial Constitutional Committee, and this was being chaired by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Next we have Rules and Procedure Committee and Steering Committee, that was chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Next is Drafting Committee, that was one of the important committees, that was being led by Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar. Next is the Committee on Fundamental Rights and Minorities, that was being chaired by Vallabhbhai Patel again. Then Union Power Committee, that was again chaired by Pandit Nehru. Next is Order of Business Committee. Order of Business Committee, that was chaired by K.M. Munshi, Dr. K.M. Munshi, who was the member of Drafting Committee. Committee on Functions of the Constituent Assembly, this was being chaired by Ganesh Vasudev Mavlankar. Later he became the first Speaker of Lok Sabha. Next is Ad Hoc Committee for Flag, or Flag Committee Ad Hoc, that was being chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So these are the important committees for the Constituent Assembly, and they are their chairman. So is that clear, guys, about the important committees and their chairman of this Constituent Assembly? Is that clear to all of you guys? Then do let me know. Is that clear by all of you? Then do let me know. Okay. Now guys, out of this important committees, one important committee is the drafting committee. And drafting committee was constituted on which date? So it was on 29th August 1947. So it was constituted on 29th August 1947, that is before independence, and total number of members were 7. Out of this, one will be the chairman and 6 were members. One was chairman and 6 were members. And who was the chairman? You all know that chairman was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is known as father of Indian Constitution and modern Manu. And his autobiography is waiting for the visa. Next are the members. First is Syed Muhammad Sadullah. He was the member. Next we have Dr. K.M. Munshi. Next is N. Gopala Swami Iyengar. Next is Alladi Krishna Swami Iyer. Next is N. Madhav Rao. N. Madhav Rao, guys, he was a replacement and he replaced B.L. Mitter. And B.L. Mitter resigned due to bad health. He resigned due to bad health. And next is T.T. Krishnamachari. And T.T. Krishnamachari, he replaced D.P. Khaitan, because D.P. Khaitan died in 1948. So D.P. Khaitan died in 1948, so that was replaced by T.T. Krishnamachari. So these two were replacements and rest of them were the original members of the drafting committee. So it is one of the important committees, guys, and maximum time that name of the chairman and the name of the members is generally being asked. Name of the chairman and name of the members is generally being asked. Is that clear? Name of the chairman and name of the members is generally being asked. Is that clear? So this was about the important committees and their chairman. Now guys, let's quickly revise the top session that we have discussed in the form of question answer. So let's quickly do the recap of the session. First question we have ki how many members were in drafting committee of Indian Constitution? So how many members were in drafting committee of Indian Constitution? Options are 7, 8, 9 or 10. So we all know that the number of members in the drafting committee was 7. So the number of members in drafting committee was 7. Next is ki what was the number of women members in Indian Constituent Assembly? So what was the number of women members in the Constituent Assembly of India? 7, 8, 15 or 10. So what was the number of members, women members in the Constituent Assembly? And that was total 15 were the members. So total number of female members in the Constituent Assembly was 15. Next is ki the objective resolution was presented in Constituent Assembly by whom? So who presented the objective resolution of the Constituent Assembly in Constituent Assembly? Options are Pandit Nehru, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Bhim Rao Ambedkar or Bhula Bhai Desai. So who presented this objective resolution? That was summary of upcoming constitution, and this was presented by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on 13 December 1946 and adopted by Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. Next is ki the official seal of the Constituent Assembly had an image of which animal? So which animal was depicted or shown in the official image of Constituent Assembly? So is it lion, tiger, peacock or elephant? So correct answer will be, guys, elephant. So elephant figure was shown. So correct answer is option 4. This is elephant. Next is ki who was the president of Union Constitutional Committee and State Committee? So who was the president of Union Constitutional Committee and State Committee of the Parliament? Is that Pandit Nehru? Of Constituent Assembly, is that Pandit Nehru, Bhula Bhai Desai, Ali Imam or Vallabh Bhai Patel? So who was the president in fact? So that was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So this was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. I hope guys, is that clear to all? So guys, with this I conclude the things for the today's session of this thing, and I hope you must have find this thing interesting and very much knowledgeable.